Hey loves, this is Marissa Monique coming at you with a few jewels for the day. Um, if this message does resound with you, I would love for you to like, share, subscribe, follow me on IG at Thanksgiving is a Lifestyle. And for those of you that don't know, I am a certified life coach through Tony Gaskin's Academy. So please do book a session at mymentor.life. That link is also in the description box. So let's get into it. Lucy Hone says, choose life, not death. Don't lose what you have to what you have lost. Um, she gives some guidelines on how to become resilient in tough times and also gives some points on how resilient people generally kind of trudge through challenging moments. I thought this was just so relevant at this time. Right now, a lot of us are experiencing losses that we had never experienced before, or challenges that we thought that we would never encounter in our lifetime, or according to our plans, we had done the things that had set us up to safeguard us from certain things happening. So right now, there are people experiencing job loss, home loss, death of family members and friends that were in fairly good health and wellness shape. I just want to offer some guidelines that we can take along with us to become more resilient, to grow stronger in our resilience. The first is that resilient people know that crap happens. They understand that suffering and struggling is part of life. They don't welcome these struggles and these sufferings in, but when the times come, they seem to know that suffering is part of every human's existence. A resilient person knows this, and it helps them to not feel discriminated against when tough times come, which I feel like we all sometimes have trouble with feeling discriminated against when tough times come. A lot of us throw pity parties. A lot of us, say, why me? Or I can't get a break, or I'm waiting for my breakthrough and it never seems to come. And we get very, very discouraged. Resilient people know that life is up, it is down, it is peaks, it is valleys, it is joy, it is sorrow. And they understand that we are not all entitled to a good life. We should never be entitled to a good life. That life is a gift, but that life is a risk. And as long as you understand that, then you will operate through your life with gratefulness. I think that sometimes social media and general striving to be perfect sometimes makes us delusional about the fact that we are human and that we do encounter hardships and challenges and death and setbacks and such. There's a scripture that reminds me of this, and it says in 2 Corinthians 12:10, for Christ's sake, I rejoice in weaknesses and insults and hardships. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And I think we need to understand that there is strength in these times of weaknesses, and that there's things that we can glean from in these very challenging times that are sometimes kind of sending us spinning mentally and emotionally, and kind of throwing our lives, what we would consider up and on its head. The second thing that I want to suggest and that Lucy Hone suggests that we dial into as resilient people, is that resilient people are good at choosing carefully where they focus their attention. They have a habit of realistically appraising situations. They understand that things are not going to be perfect, and that there is positives to situations and that there's negatives to situations, and that it behooves them to go at life with the glass half full, and to also understand that, okay, this that is in front of me is a challenge. It makes me angry. It makes me sad. It makes me sorrowful. It makes me regretful. All of those things. It makes me feel guilty. But that we understand that it's important that we not stay there, and that we not live in that guilt, that sorrow, and that unfortunate situation, but that we understand that we can feel how we're going to feel, but that we need to continue to move forward, because there is some light on the other inside of that, and that life will continue on if we stay strong and continue to move. I feel like this makes me think about the serenity prayer. The serenity prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to know, to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think that resilient people know that. They know that, okay, there's something coming, coming at me right now, and that I need to accept that this is where I am, and then be courageous enough to find solutions to make this better, or to make it better to walk through it, and then to also know the difference between those, so that I'm not stuck on something that I should have done, that I should have said, but that I understand that life just plays out, and that we just have to live it, that we can plan, but that there will always be room for changes. And sometimes these changes, we make them, they just come and get us, they present themselves, and then a lot of times we just have to adjust them. So, keep the serenity prayer in mind. We seem to be very good at noticing negative emotions, negative experiences, and they kind of stick to us like glue. And then we have trouble when the positive things come, to just kind of write them off as if we are entitled to them, or as if they just come a dime a dozen. And it puts us in a place where we're not as grateful. I know that there's this saying that I've seen before, that I've kind of just kind of internalized, but that you become careless when you become ungrateful. But you also become negative when you are too focused on the negative. And so resilient people are, like I said, are very good at choosing carefully where they focus their attention. They're challenging themselves to give themselves times and give themselves grace to feel however they're going to feel, but then to also look at the next move, the next situation, the next challenge, and the next light at the current end of the tunnel. I think that we're constantly bombarded by threats every day. I feel like our stress response is permanently set to high. And Lucy Hone notes this, saying that because we're dealing with worries constantly, as a parent, you worry about your child going to school because of school, and then you worry about school shootings. Right now, you're worried about COVID and sending your child back to school. And if there will be a COVID breakout at school, you're worried about that, sending your toddler to daycare. You're worried about road rage. You're worried about someone being at the coffee shop and trying to solicit a fight with you because they are mad that they think that you stepped in front of them in line when you just simply didn't see them, or you didn't know. Those stressful things have never let our guard come down, that as soon as we walk out the door, we're dealing with our stress response and kind of keeping that at bay. And it's very hard to keep it at bay. That's why it's always set to high. And so it's important to stay grateful and to stay engaged with the positive things that are going on in your life, to sometimes go and think about the things that we are happy about, that we are satisfied with, the things that we are grateful for. We can be grateful for our partner. We can be grateful for our children, to sometimes just glean from those things. And so resilient people are able to do that. They're able to stop in a negative situation and say, hey, what are 3 things that I'm thankful for right now? I need to pull from that. What is my vision for myself at the end of the year? What is my vision for myself next year? How can I take care of my body and the people around me right now to help them, fight COVID and fight the challenges that we are encountering right now? How can I love the people in my home, the extra people in my home right now? Because it could definitely be worse. Not to negate that your situation isn't important, but that things could definitely be more challenging. I think that resilient people make an intentional, a deliberate, an ongoing effort to tune into what is good and in their world and in their life. And you do need to do that as well. We all need to do that to stay resilient, to stay strong, and to understand that we can be in valleys, but we can also hit peaks later. The last thing that I would suggest, and that Lucy Hone suggests, in her piece is that resilient people ask themselves, what am I doing that is helping or harming me? You can ask yourself this in many situations. This question will help us to step back a bit and to take self-inventory, and also to be a little more self-aware and say, I'm really not happy right now because I'm not able to fellowship at happy hour or at church or whatever it is, with the people that I normally see. And so at night, I'm sitting here by myself and drinking 3 glasses of wine instead of that half a glass of wine or that 1 glass of wine that I would drink every other day when I would see my best friend or take that walk with whoever I take my walk with. And right now, I'm not able to do that. It makes you step back and say, is that helping me or is that harming me? You know what? That might be harming me. I think that I should make an adjustment. This helps you stay in the present, and it also gives you some control of your decision making. So take stock of the things right now that you're doing in this challenging time, or ways that you're coping with the shifts in your family, your friends, your job, your household. Take note of those things. Ask yourself, is this helping me? Is this harming me? The next thing that I would suggest as a whole is that we lean into these strategies when we feel like we're in a situation that we cannot come back from. There is someone out there who is dealing with the death of someone that they did not expect because of COVID, or even just during this time, and COVID has made it more complicated to say goodbye to them at this time. Lean into these strategies. Figure out the things that you cannot change, accept the things that you can change. Be wise enough to know the difference between those things. Understand that it cannot be perfect, and that suffering is part of life, and that as humans, we will encounter ups and downs and highs and lows and joy and sorrow. Once again, thinking this way is not easy, and it certainly does not remove the pain or the hardships or the heartache that you're experiencing right now. But if you can learn to condition yourself how to push through these tough times, you can make a world of difference in your outlook and the next valley you will encounter. There are times now where I can almost chuckle at the fact that there is something challenging before me. This minister said, I heard say, life is like a deck. We're nailing things down, we're screwing things down, we got all the slats down, and as soon as we turn back to admire our work because we've gotten everything just the way we want it, something pops up. That is life, and as soon as we can accept that life is like that, the sooner, and make the adjustments, the sooner we can move on and understand that it's just a cycle, and that we can still enjoy our lives, the people around us, make plans, but also understand that life will make room for the challenging moments. I hope this has served you well. I hope you can take something from this. Everybody be safe, be blessed, and I'll see you next time.